What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today I'm going to feature the final sci-fi project before we boldly go where no man has gone before. I'm talking about from 1987, Spaceballs, starring Bill Pullman, John Candy, Daphne Zuniga, Joan Rivers, Rick Moranis, Mel Brooks, George Weiner, Dick Van Patten, Michael Winslow, Dom DeLuise, and John Hurt. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And today's is going to be a really fun one because back in the days when I was just a young renegade, about 10, 11, 12 years old, I had just been recently exposed to the Star Wars saga. I want to say I was about 10 when I first saw those all. And then along a couple years later came Mel Brooks with Spaceballs, a complete and total spoof of not only Star Wars, but Star Trek, Aliens, Planet of the Apes. The list just goes on and on. There was so many things that got spoofed here that it was very easy for a kid to gravitate towards it, even though there was some foul language and it may not have necessarily been a kid's movie, but it was just very easy to gravitate towards it. So without any further ado, let's get down to it here, shall we? Our film opens and Planet Spaceball, which is led by President Scroob, has run out of all of its fresh air. So Scroob schemes to get Keen Roland from the nearby planet of Druidia to give him the code to their air shield that protects Druidia, thereby allowing them to steal all of their clean, fresh air. His plan is to kidnap Keen Roland's daughter, Princess Vespa, on the day of her arranged marriage to Prince Valium. So Scroob sends Dark Helmet and Colonel Sanders to complete the task with Spaceball 1, an insanely huge ship. But before they can arrive, Vespa abandons her wedding and flees the planet in her Mercedes spaceship with her droid of honor, Dot Matrix. Keen Roland then contacts Lone Star, who's kind of a mercenary for hire, and his Mog companion, Barf, and offers a very lucrative award to find Vespa before she can be captured. Lone Star accepts the offer as he is in debt to Pizza the Hut for 1 million space bucks. So Lone Star and Barf are able to reach Princess Vespa in their Winnebago spaceship before Spaceball 1 can capture her, and they successfully rescue her and Dot and flee at light speed. Spaceball 1 tries to follow, and Dark Helmet orders the ship to go to ludicrous speed, causing it to overshoot the escapees by quite a large distance. Our heroes end up running out of fuel as a result of the light speed, and they're forced to crash land on the desert moon of Vega. They travel on foot, attempting to evade the Spaceballs, but they eventually pass out under the blazing sun's heat. They are found by Dinks, a group of short, brown-clad aliens who take them to a cave which is occupied by Yogurt, who introduces the group and the audience to the merchandising campaign from the film. And if you've ever seen Spaceballs, you know that when I throw to our Jeff Meacham Network commercial for the merchandising for the shirts, the dialogue in the beginning is from this scene. Merchandising, where the real money's made. Straight from Spaceballs. So Spaceballs has had a presence in my shows since day one. A little while later, Yogurt teaches Lone Star about the power known as the Schwartz and gives him a ring which will control the upside of the Schwartz. Lone Star and Vespa begin to develop feelings for each other, but Vespa states that she can only marry a prince. So, in order to find our heroes, Dark Helmet and Colonel Sanders break the fourth wall and use a VHS copy of Spaceballs to find them on Vega. Helmet orders Spaceball 1 to head to the desert moon and proceed to comb the desert. When Dark Helmet discovers Yogurt's lair, he pretends to be King Roland and lures Vespa and Dot out and captures them, taking them back to planet Spaceball. Dark Helmet then threatens to reverse Vespa's nose job, which forces King Roland to give up the code to Druidia's shield. Dark Helmet and Colonel Sanders then take Spaceball 1 to Druidia, while Lone Star and Barf rescue Vespa and Dot from the Spaceball prison complex. Once they arrive at Druidia, Spaceball 1 transforms into Mega Maid, a Statue of Liberty type of robot complete with a vacuum cleaner. The vacuum is activated and begins to suck the air off the planet, and when the bag is almost full, Lone Star uses the Schwartz to reverse the vacuum and blow the air back onto the planet. Our heroes then enter the Mega Maid and attempt to destroy it, but Dark Helmet intercepts Lone Star and reveals that he is his father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate. Lone Star and Dark Helmet have a duel with lightsaber type of weapons created by their Schwartz rings, until Lone Star loses his. Yogurt then begins to speak to Lone Star through the Schwartz and tells him that the ring was just a prize from a Cracker Jack box, that the Schwartz is inside of him. This helps to bring Lone Star to defeat Dark Helmet, causing him to accidentally hit the self-destruct button on the ship. Lone Star and the rest of our heroes are able to escape Spaceball 1, while President Scroob, Dark Helmet, and Colonel Sanders all scramble to reach escape pods, but fail, trapping them into the ship as it explodes. The three Spaceballs then land on a nearby planet, very much akin to the Planet of the Apes. As our heroes are on the way to return Princess Vespa to Druidia, Lone Star learns that Pizza the Hutt has eaten himself to death, thereby nullifying the debt that Lone Star owes him. Lone Star and Barf return Vespa to King Roland and leave, only taking enough money to cover expenses instead of the 1 million space bucks that had been promised to them. Lone Star and Barf stop at a diner for a quick bite while their ship gets gassed up, and they witness Gilbert Kane from Alien birthing another creature very much like it happened in the 1979 film. They decide not to eat and take off. Still hungry, they open a fortune cookie that Yogurt had given them and receive a message from the master of the Schwartz, telling them that the medallion that Lone Star wears is a royal birthright. He is, in fact, a prince. They head back to Druidia and arrive just in time to prevent Vespa from marrying Valium, and Lone Star marries Vespa himself as our film draws to its conclusion. Spaceballs is very much all over the place, but it's all over the place in a good way. Spaceballs is a hell of a fun movie, though. And to help me discuss it today on Renegades Reviews, a man that needs no introduction. He is the owner, operator of the Jeff Meacham Network. The man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Meacham. What's up, Jeff? Thank you for joining me here once again. You were just here like 3 days ago, 4 days
Yeah,
ago.
I know. So much for me not taking over your channel in the process of you doing Sci-Fi Month, which we knew was going to happen. I mean,
seriously, like,
this is my bread and butter, baby.
I don't know where you have the time. Seriously, like pay-per-view watch-alongs, talk wrestling, the Greg Cherry Show. How you have time to continue popping in here is beyond me. But thank you for joining me.
And not only pop in here, but have to edit out my damn video on Sunday because WWE just can't let me have 2 minutes of NWO clip. You greedy sons of bitches. Anyway.
But, we're here to talk more about Spaceballs. And it's just one of those sci-fi comedy, like in the vein of Scary Movie of sorts.
Right.
But way before there was a Scary Movie.
Right.
Here was Spaceballs, which just lampooned all the major sci-fi trends of the time,
Yeah.
On its surface, it's a Star Wars parody at heart.
Right.
But then you've got some Star Trek with the whole beaming in of President Scroob and Snotty instead of Scotty. You've got Alien with the scene at the diner where John Hurt comes back, reprising his role in Alien and giving birth to yet another alien out of his chest, who then goes Michigan J. Frog on us, singing, hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal.
Oh my God.
You've got Planet of the Apes in there because the Spaceballs, Scroob, Sanders, and Helmet all land on the planet inhabited by Planet of the Apes type creatures.
Yes.
And you've even got a nod to the Wizard of Oz, because if you look at King Roland and his hair and his regal robe, like he is definitely Bert Law or Cowardly Lion, just waiting for him to go, put him up, put him up.
I was actually waiting for some sort of weird thing to happen in space and go, it's a twister. But, that didn't happen. So,
right?
I was waiting for it,
but what are your thoughts on Spaceballs, sir? Like, as admittedly a Trekkie more so than a Star Wars fan.
I'm curious what I can say without getting you thrown off YouTube, because I have so many thoughts after all these years. yeah, you understand something, Jay. This movie was so beloved by the Comic-Con, the geek community, like, the those of us that inhabited the midnight movies and the Rocky Horrors and whatnot, that my Rocky Horror cast leader at the time, Bernie, had a spot on, down to the ratio, compared his size to Rick Moranis's dark helmet costume. And frequented the cosplay circuit back before the word cosplay circuit was a thing, before he became, the cosplay king of LA County or Southern California, whatever the hell he's called now. Love you, Bern, if you're watching, but you're not, so I don't know why I said that. Like he gives a shit at this point. But yeah, just seeing, and like you said, seeing Rick Moranis, who by and large is the Ricky Steamboat of Hollywood, perpetual babyface, never plays a bad guy, and he's not really bad here. Like, he's just like, he's trying to be bad, but it's like, Rick Moranis, shut up. You're a good soul. You're just caught up in some shit. You don't know what you're doing. It's okay. We got you, boo. But yeah, it's just, and of course, lest we forget the greatest scene in the history of the movie, in my opinion, the keep firing asshole scene, which we've lampooned so many times over the years at Rocky whenever Bernie would bring out his dark helmet costume, and it's just so funny. And you've got him, and you've got his second in command. It's so, the whole thing's good, and you got the cross-eyed gunner and the cross-eyed superior officer is just tremendous, because it's like, it's very much a parody on corporate America at the time, and honestly today. Let's not kid ourselves here. We both been in retail. We know what's up. So it's just so funny. And like you said, there's so much good quality. It's quality humor. It's not like trash humor or just like, garbage, potty mouth humor. It's funny. It's 80s humor. It lampoons every damn sci-fi thing you could possibly think of. And if you didn't think you could do it, oh yeah, they did it anyway. And like you said, they brought in Wizard of Oz for no particular reason. They just brought in the Cowboy Lion outfit because it's there. And Mel Brooks's genius is severely underappreciated by the kids younger than us folk.
Oh,
for
definitely.
Sure. If you've never seen this, History of the World Part 1, no, there's not a Part 2. I said what I said. Stuff like that. If you've never seen Blazing Saddles or anything like that, you don't know quality cinematic humor. Stuff like Mel Brooks and Monty Python stuff. And lest we forget, Mel Brooks brought us Young Frankenstein, which is arguably the greatest comedy spoof of a horror classic ever. And I only saw that for the first time because my ex at the time in high school, which was back in, I borrowed the VHS. I don't think I ever gave it back. I think it's still in the house here somewhere. And if I did give it back, it wasn't until recently because she borrowed my jacket and gave it back. So karma's a bitch. But that was great. But Spaceballs is very much a lampooning of and a love letter to the practitioners of the Force, the Trekkies and the Trekkers, the sci-fi geeks in general. It's so good and so funny, and I'm so glad. I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus because of the. I could have sworn if I didn't see it on there, I saw it on somewhere streaming. I watched it on Prime Video this time because I couldn't find my DVD collection anywhere, so I had to pony up. It is what it is, but it's just so. It's one of those that's timeless, and we talk about that a lot on this show, especially when you and I get together on your show. Movies that are timeless. Maybe there's a topic there for dads, by the way. But just this movie holds up, and it's been damn near 25 years. It'll be 25 years next year, so it holds up very, very well. It's a classic, and I did like that you pointed out in our conversation about both Lone Star and Han Solo ended up being presidents of the United States. That's just fantastic. And it was literally back-to-back years because Independence Day was Bill Pullman, and then 97, of course, was... I never forget Harrison Ford's president's name. It always bugs me that I don't remember it. One of my favorite movies ever. But yeah, he played the president in Air Force One in 97. So just... It's so funny that they both ended up there. And then you've got people you don't even know are in the movie. Like Dot Matrix's Joan Rivers. If you were younger than us, you don't know the Joan Rivers voice. You have no idea who the hell she is. And that's okay. But if you're our age, yeah, exactly. If you were a talk show fan, or let's be honest, Hollywood Squares fan in the 1980s, you knew who Joan Rivers is. So Center Square or Secret Square every time. And before that, it was Paul Lynde. God bless him. May he rest in peace too. Should have got him in this movie if he was still alive. That'd have been awesome.
The biggest one that I'm surprised that Mel didn't get, and I don't know if he didn't just try to tap him, or if he tried to tap him and he said no. I'm surprised he didn't get Gene Wilder.
Right? He's been in every other damn thing he's done. Like, seriously. Like
Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles specifically.
Right.
Like, I'm surprised he didn't try to get Gene Wilder for at least like a cameo, just like a scene.
Should have him be Baron Frankenstein. Have him walk in there, Frankenstein, and walk out. Everybody's like, what the fuck? It's Frankenstein, you idiot. It's 300 years ago. Go away. Or, whatever.
But to your point about Mel Brooks, it's very sad that there's an entire generation of movie fans that their only exposure to Mel Brooks is Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, God, I know. And not ragging on
Dracula's father,
right? Yeah, and not ragging on that movie at all. Those movies, at all.
I love them. That's why I reviewed them during Trilogies Month.
I know, and they're cute movies, but man, granted, our kids need to grow up just a little bit more before we show them some of Mel Brooks' movies. But I mean, this one's okay.
I think they could probably do Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Anything other than Spaceballs would be questionable at this point in time.
Young Frankenstein, I think, rides a line too. Like, I remember watching that really young at first. So
mine has no desire to do horror movies.
No.
And yours has had horror movies just like totally murdered for him. So
I know. God. Well,
so unfortunately, I don't know if we could get them for that one. But Spaceballs.
But to your credit, though, the first one he ever watched was the original Frankenstein, thanks to you. So I think he would appreciate Young Frankenstein. If for no other reason, then he'll understand why his dad, whenever somebody says Frankenstein, you're going to yell Frankenstein. He's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He doesn't understand why I do that, and it's just like it's funny to me.
But you know, I mean, there's maybe Spaceballs, maybe Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh,
because they're familiar enough with the Robin Hood story, thanks to Disney,
right?
That I think Men in Tights might be funny to them, but definitely they're too young for Blazing Saddles, History of the World.
Definitely those two for sure. Yeah. Robin Hood, I remember yours. I don't know because it's very, very crude, disgusting humor. This one trying to keep him away from that, so you know, maybe not the best idea now. But anyway, we're gonna have into the weeds as we do. So
I was just gonna say real quickly on Robin Hood, though, to Mel Brooks' credit, it's the only time I found Dave Chappelle funny.
True that.
Is in a Mel Brooks film. It took an old Jewish white man to make Dave Chappelle funny to me. I'm just throwing that out there.
We're off the air. Good night, everybody. That's it. We're done. You can't rag on Chappelle anywhere on YouTube. We're dead. We're dead. It's over. Anyway,
hey, you know what? I said what I said, and I stand behind it. And I've said it to some of my other friends before, so they've heard me say it to their face. I'm saying it right here.
Don't worry, brother.
I don't think Chappelle's that funny.
I stand right behind you in unison and make sure you get the firing squad first. Okay, carry on. There we go.
But I mean, Rick Moranis.
Oh, jeez.
The proverbial good guy, you know. He's so lovable in everything that he does. Whether it's Ghostbusters, whether it's Little Shop of Horrors as Seymour, whether it's, you know, Parenthood and My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin. Just trying to see him be Lord Dark Helmet.
I can't breathe there.
It just makes it so much fun. Yeah, exactly. And then to play up how annoying that costume had to be for David Prowse. I can't breathe in this thing.
And remember that Rick's costume was designed so he had plenty of room. David Prowse is like, so you know, same with Hayden. It's like you can't breathe in that damn thing. So it's I totally get the feels. And like I said, I've seen Bernie's helmet. Like I said, spot on and like ratioed for his size because Bernie was a little bit shorter and Rick's shorter than himself. But yeah, I had the helmet in my hand. It's like, how the hell? And it's like, that's why the helmet was off or up a lot of the time because of that. Because you know, it's just this huge gargantuan thing. It's a big old elephant in the room thing. So it's very much bothersome. So I get it.
You know, Bill Pullman in only his second film.
Right.
After this, of course, he would go on to be Gina Davis's husband in A League of Their Own. And then, as we touched on, the President of the United States in Independence Day, amongst a ton of other films.
Yes.
Let's not shortchange him as an actor, but
no.
To me, you know, this is the Bill Pullman trilogy. Spaceballs, Independence Day, A League of Their Own. Like,
yeah,
that's what I know him for.
Well, because I mean, think about it. He goes from a scrub who becomes a military hero to a war hero who gets wounded and sent back home to the president. It's a beautiful chronology there. There you go.
You know, it tells its own story.
It tells, much like you and your shows, it weaves the story very nicely and beautifully.
You know, Daphne Zuniga about 5 years away from entering Melrose Place.
I was gonna say, I think I can't think of anything Daphne's done, and I'm not trying to shit on Daphne at all.
No.
I can't think of anything beyond Spaceballs and Melrose, and Lord knows Melrose was a monumental hit for every damn buddy. So let's not underscore
But
that.
to its credit, to also when you think of Melrose, you think of Heather Locklear. You don't generally think of Daphne Zuniga.
What's funny, when I think of Melrose, I think of 90210. That's where it spun off from, and I was a fan of that show. So, I actually don't think of Heather first. I think of, I forget his name now, Grant, the guy that played Jake, the one that spun off into Melrose in the first place.
Grant Show?
Grant Show sounds right. But I think of him, and I actually do think of Daphne before I think of Heather Locklear. So,
Teach their own.
But to be fair, never watched a single episode of Melrose. So,
yeah. The legendary John Candy.
Oh my God, I know. Ugh.
Can we say enough great things about John Candy? Like,
you know what? No, we can't, because those younger than us don't know.
Well, yeah, because they weren't alive to experience his genius.
Right, and they won't get to, because he passed before they were even a glimmer in our eye, which is so unfortunate, because, man...
I want to say 1993, 94? I
was going to say, I remember him around the same time as Andre, which was like, it was such a BS year. I mean, I turned 10, so yay for me, but, it was a shitty year for entertainment and sport, yeah, because Andre and John Candy and just so much genius lost to unnecessary reason. And, I mean, God, both of them. I mean, Andre's heart just gave out. He was just too big for his own damn good, and John Candy, it's terrible. So, anyway.
Like, I know Cool Runnings had come out, and he was alive for that.
Right.
I know the last film that he worked on, I think, was Wagons East. And I think he died before that came out.
I was gonna say, I don't think he made it to the promotion of Wagons East.
But I'm pretty fuzzy on the in between where he left us there, in between those two landmarks. But
anyway, he's so funny in this.
Yeah, and to be honest, his part is very, very minor in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Like this movie is very much the Lone Star, Princess Vespa, Dark Helmet story. Like,
right.
It encompasses those three characters the most.
Yes,
and
very much so.
Barf is a significant part of all that, because much like Chewbacca, he's Lone Star's right hand, the co-pilot of their ship, but he doesn't have extensive dialogue or anything.
Right.
He's got a few quips and lines, but other than that, if you don't know the genius you're watching, it's a very forgettable character.
Yeah, and when you think about, the character he's parodying and how iconic not just Chewbacca, but Peter Mayhew became before he passed.
Yeah.
And to try to, even at not even the 10-year mark of the original movie, to try to parody what ultimately became the Spock character of the Star Wars franchise for a long time, had to be a daunting task. But John Candy's good on shit like that. So
yeah, definitely.
So,
and then, as you touched on, Joan Rivers is Dot Matrix, like.
Yeah. I mean,
Joan Rivers is one of those personalities, and I try not to speak ill of the dead. I'm not really talking bad of her, but she is a personality kind of always got on my nerves.
Yeah.
She's very much that type of personality. You either love her or you hate her. There's no in between.
Yeah.
And I never really was a big fan of hers. Never really cared for her talk show. There were other talk shows on that I would rather watch.
Right.
Whether it was Phil Donahue or Sally Jesse or Maury or whoever, Montel Williams.
Right.
I never really gravitated towards the Joan Rivers show.
And the thing with Joan is she was such a perpetual guest host for Johnny Carson back in the day that, you know, we almost got used to her being on 11:30. So having her on earlier, it's like, what are you doing here? Why are you?
Yeah. The only time I really followed Joan's shows was once Melissa became a part of it.
I was going to say.
Was because, you know, Melissa wasn't bad looking. She was kind of easy on the eyes. She sounded like her mom.
Oh, God. What's
But
so funny
other than
is
that, you know, I was like, I can watch this now, you know?
yeah. People tend to, you know, give the Kardashians shit, rightfully so, for being the Kardashians. But, you know, before there was, you know, Kim and everybody else, there was very much Joan and Melissa Rivers and their reality TV shenanigans. Like, oh, God. So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I found that I like Joan in very small doses. Like, you know, her Pee Wee's Christmas special cameo. Boom. Hollywood Squares and she's gone. Bye. That's it. Cool. I'm good.
Yeah. I was going to say, but it's interesting, though, that two of my favorite products of the 80s, she has a featured role in.
Yes, very much so.
She's Dot Matrix here, and she has a decent-sized cameo in The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yes.
Selling perfume,
but, you know,
alongside Miss Piggy.
I was going to say,
just to see those two go at it, like, you know, Frank Oz was having a grand old time portraying Piggy alongside Joan Rivers.
Because,
like,
you know, deep down, he's just like, part of me's laughing with her, but part of me just wants to, like, ram her. just take her down.
No. Like, I don't imagine the Muppeteers getting, like, very starstruck.
No.
But I think, you know, doing that scene with Joan Rivers, like, I could see somebody getting starstruck because she was so hot at that time that, you know, that was a huge coup for the Henson property.
Right. I just, from what I know of Frank, it was probably more of like, okay, well, here we go. Just because she's very much a grating, very much a grow on you like a fungus personality. So yeah, but anyway, but you know, it's funny. I was looking up. I always get the actor that plays Colonel Sanders mixed up with Jeffrey Tambor. Not Jeffrey Tambor. It's George Weiner, who he's been in so much good stuff. The Bad News Bears and this and The Postman and The Devil's Advocate, which always gets underscored when it comes to Al Pacino movies. Like, man, Devil's Advocate is just so severely understated, and it's so good. He's in American Pie 2. He's the camp director. He's the band camp director, which a band camp director in an American Pie movie is a destined for shenanigans role for sure. So
just ask Allison Hannigan.
Well,
this one time at band camp.
Well, unfortunately for George, he ended up on the business end of a post shenanigans on the horn. So yeah, it wasn't pretty. But yeah, he's been in some funny stuff too, and he's done great films and great TV roles. So this entire cast, again, like it's kind of like blink and you miss them and realize what else they've done in the film world. Like you said, you have the core, you have Daphne, you have Pullman, and you've got Rick Moranis, but everybody else in this has either been great before, great after, or they were great while they cameoed in this movie. And of course, Mel Brooks is every damn thing in this movie because he's Mel Brooks.
I mean, he's got the double role of President's Group and Yogurt,
which is so funny considering
a villain and a hero at the same time.
And not just any hero or villain. He plays Yoda and the Emperor.
Yeah.
Which is
like, seriously.
For Star Wars fans, you're like,
huh?
No, that'd be like Frank Oz with the crazy makeup on during Revenge of the Sith. Like, that's weird. Stop. No. So, anyway.
One of the performers in this film that I didn't know was in this film until I was looking at the cast list and everything to cover it, Tony Cox. You want to talk about somebody who, you know, became big afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but not only was he in this, but he was in both Ewok movies and Return of the Jedi as well, playing Ewoks.
Yep.
So you've actually got somebody from the Star Wars franchise that carried into the parody.
And do you know what else Tony Cox was in, Uncle Jay?
Tell me.
Caponeo.
Yes, I did know that.
Hooter! Anyway, yeah.
I mean, he was in Friday. He's in
Well, I know
Bad
he's in Friday.
Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I didn't
I'm
remember. I
just
didn't.
talking about the
Well, right,
accolades that people would know him for
right.
post this, where you actually like get to see his face.
Yes.
I was actually able to figure out which Dink he was when they did the close-ups.
Nice, nice. It's funny you mentioned Tony Cox because I remember years later, after I had fallen in love with Captain EO and just adored the whole presentation of it, and I found out Tony was a dick, and I was like, "Oh man, Hooter's a dick." That's like watching Santa Claus, the Rudolph movie, and seeing Santa's a dick. It's like, no, it's like, oh,
That's probably
because
why he got along so good with Billy Bob Thornton in Bad Santa.
true that. Although what's so funny is I always hear like great stuff about Billy Bob now. Like he's like reformed himself, but whereas Tony just devolved further, I guess. But yeah. But he's funny in pretty much everything he does. He does every role very well, and he very much plays up to the asshole side when he needs to, and which is fine because some people embrace that side of themselves on film, and it just is magic. Like you said, Billy Bob Thornton. You know, back then he was a right prick, and it worked for him on the films he did. So Tony was no different. But yeah, like you said, John Hurt making the cameo as his character from Alien, and then having another stomach, it's like, oh jeez. And then of course, like you said, the Michigan J Frog reference, like if any more than the two of us in this room got that joke, I love you if you got that reference, because thank you so much for that. And if you don't, look up WB mascot on YouTube, you'll see the dance video, you'll come back and go, oh okay, duh.
Because straight up he pops out of the chest, then he just kind of gives a little glimpse, puts the top hat on, and he starts going to town, like just like Michigan J Frog. And I didn't get the reference when I was a kid because I hadn't seen that many Michigan J Frog cartoons. Right. But now as a grown-up, you know, and I probably got the reference in the mid-90s when I saw it. But like first time viewing it, it's just like, oh, the alien is being funny doing a song and dance. But then you see the Michigan J Frog cartoons and you get it and you make the connection. It's like, oh my God, it's a Warner Brothers joke too. Like, this doesn't even fit in the realm of sci-fi, but it's hilarious.
So when you told me about Tony Cox playing one of the dinks, I looked it up just to see who all it was. Another one of the soldiers of Dark Helmet was Tim Russ. Well, gee, Jeff, who's Tim Russ? He played a minor lieutenant role in Star Trek Generations. Like the only other black guy in the room besides oh wait, Uhura wasn't there. So the only black guy in the room, and then on Voyager he became Tuvok. So a cast member from Voyager is in Spaceballs. So both universes are reflected by cast members, which I thought was funny. And of course Robert Paulson, because Robert Paulson's every damn thing. So you know, he's one of the soldiers. I recognize some of these names. I'm just trying to see why I remember these names. But yeah, there's just so many little things thrown in there. It's very much like the Scary Movie, like you said, in American Pie movies, where people cameo as their roles and other stuff, and they just kind of throw them in there, you know, like Robert Patrick being the T-1000 and every damn thing. You know, it's stuff like that that makes this movie and movies like it so fun, and it's a great, as you said, and now we know it's a bridge for sure between the two sagas because there's cast members from both in Spaceballs from Star Wars and Star Trek, which makes me as much of a train wreck as this next movie you're going to do is. I can't wait till tomorrow because now you're in Roddenberry land and you're in my wheelhouse, brother, and I love it.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves there.
You said a half hour, so I was trying to give you a proper segue there to half hours.
So, we're getting there. We're getting there. Don't rush.
Okay. Pump the brakes.
So, rating the film. You know how I do this. Yes. Now, I will say this, and you don't have to adhere to this if you don't want to.
Okay.
But when I did the Family Guy trilogies, I said that 4 stars is the best I could give to a parody because it's not the original property.
Right.
You can throw that out the window. If you feel Spaceballs is a 5 star, go right ahead. But just know that for me, 4-star is the best when it comes to a parody.
I appreciate the out because I was going to give it a 4 anyway. So 4 is good. It's too good to be a 3 out of 4. It's too good to be a 75. That's just way too. It's too good. So I think this is, as we found out 3 years later at the end of the summer of 1990, the best of both worlds when it comes to Star Wars and Star Trek. So and it's got so many great cameos, so many great people that you love, but you don't know are in it. Like I said, you don't know these people there. It's like, oh, okay, he's in it. That makes it even more awesome. So, like I said, the fact that you mentioned you got Tony Cox in it, who's from the last 2 of the original trilogy. You've got Tim Russ, who appeared in a Star Trek movie and on a Star Trek TV series. So it's very cool for me personally, but the performances by the main cast are really what does it for me. They commit. So I would love to see a full-on complete blooper reel of this, and would love to know the bill that was sent to the studio for Depends and Bedpans afterwards, because damn it, I'd have been pissing my pants on this set. Holy crap.
Me too. You know, I really want to get a hold of the Blu-ray because my DVD, the quality of transfer on the DVD is so bad because
because you got the original,
it was DVD in its infancy. Like it
Yeah.
looks like they took something that was recorded on a VHS off of like HBO
Right.
and transferred it to DVD.
Yeah.
Like it's so grainy and the images just don't pop. Like I want to get the Blu-ray so I can see, you know, the 4K, the HD, you know, the presentation like we had seen it in theaters back in 1987.
It's just so funny to me that the original transfer of Spaceballs is such hot garbage, yet for some ungodly reason, the exact recording off of TV that's on YouTube of the Star Wars Holiday Special looks like they 4K'd it. They didn't. It's a straight up off TV transfer. The TV commercials were even in the damn video. But
that's probably because the person recorded it when it aired, thinking it would be good, and realized it was such hot garbage that they decided to never watch it again. So, you know, the pristine copy right there, like we're talking high grade.
Not quite onion skin thin worn tapes like some of those wrestling tapes we have nowadays. But
or like your 15 copies of Pinocchio from you when you were a wee little lad.
Hey. 15. It's a multiple of 15, but it's not 15. Behave yourself. I'll make it 15. I will make you watch 15 copies 15 times. I will do it. I'm that evil. Next month is Disney after all.
And I will be getting there.
1940. It's early on, brother. I will go shit up.
I also am giving it 4 out of 5 stars. You know, this movie is, to me, this is the blueprint.
Yes.
For what was Scary Movie. A low down dirty shame in the 90s. Epic Movie. All those other, you know, Not Another Teen Movie. All those types of films that just parodied entire genres. Yes. This was the blueprint.
Absolutely.
And you could argue me about Blazing Saddles because that did it for Westerns, or Young Frankenstein with the classics, but I saw this first before any of those.
Yep.
So this one is going to hold that special place in my heart as being the first that I saw.
Right. And, you know, to credit the other two, they all did their job for their genre. This one did it for sci-fi fantasy. Blazing Saddles did it for Westerns. And I think even my favorite Western fan in there likes Blazing Saddles. I haven't checked it in a while. And, you know, if, Young Frankenstein, again, I have not seen that on a disc yet. I've only ever seen it on a video cassette or a TV. I know you got it. You got every damn movie. You're like the Keith Urban of movies. You know every damn movie and you got every one of them.
I have a Mel Brooks collection set.
Oh, I believe it.
Scored. Spaceballs, for whatever reason, is not part of that set.
Which is bonkers to me.
Blazing Saddles, History of the World, the
Part
producers,
one.
the original version,
That's
not
right.
the remake version.
That's right. Damn it.
You know, all those. It's even got Men in Tights in there, but it doesn't have Spaceballs for some reason. Not
You
sure
know,
why, but you know,
if I
it is what it is, baby.
if I remember my corporate history correctly, Spaceballs was such a hit unto itself, with all due respect to the other ones in that collection on DVD, that they didn't release it because Spaceballs was such a hot property in and of itself. They didn't want to relegate it to it's on this collection disc too, and not make the money they could. Because we all know every movie studio wants to grain every last dollar they can, which is why there's 45 different versions of Back to the Future, and I own them all. So
I mean, the movie pointed out the merchandising right there. You know, that's why I use that clip
so
for when
good.
I throw to our t-shirts,
So
which
good.
I'm going to do here in just a second. You know, make sure you get out there on the social medias, get those hashtags trending for us. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, hashtag Jeff Meacham Network, and of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade J.J. Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag Statboy Approved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you get out there. Do what that commercial just told you. Merchandising, merchandising, merchandising. Go to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the official merchandise of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, your Dad's Not Always on Wrestling shirt, Renegade J.J. Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, like the man right there is wearing, hashtag Statboy Approved, not this one, but the official Jeff Meacham Network one. This is the original prototype, if you will.
If you've got that one, you cool kid.
This is the John Cena UPW Statboy Approved shirt.
Yes, tremendous.
Get you your hashtag Shenanigans shirt. Get you your official merchandise for the Jeff Meacham Network. There are 3 different designs of the Jeff Meacham Network logo to choose from. Talk Wrestling, Meachamania, and so much more. Now, tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, when I will bring you another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. We will boldly go where no man has gone before.
Nor should they.
Star Trek, the motion picture. Definitely going to want to make sure you tune in tomorrow to see what I think of Star Trek, the motion picture.
I am very curious. I'm not going to lie.
I did chat off camera here with Mr. Meacham a little bit before we rolled to kind of see where he stood and why he feels the way that he does. None of that is going to sway me. I'm going to stick to my own personal feelings.
Good.
You know, and you're just going to have to tune in tomorrow to see what I think of the original feature film from the Roddenberry verse, as you call it.
And since you're watching tomorrow on Wednesday, you can catch JJ's review of Star Trek Motion Picture, and then get yourself a snacky drink, and tune into the Greg Cherry Show at 7 o'clock.
That's right. So, Mr. Meacham, the man, the myth, the legend, the West Coast professor, thank you for joining me for this fun ride on Spaceball 1.
Yes.
Thank you to all my loyal viewers that have been watching during the live stream. leaving your comments over there next to Jeff. Thank you very much to all my loyal viewers that watch on demand when you get home from work, leaving your comments down here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow, and may the Schwartz be with you.